Hey, this is Notser, and we're checking out the Graf Zeppelin. Why are we checking out the Graf Zeppelin? Because this is the Deep Water Torpedo variant. It is up for testing, and I figured, why the hell not? This will be the first official Deep Water Torpedo I have tested with my own hands and eyes. So I wanted to check it out. Is there anything noticeable that you can tell the difference between? We set up an attack on the enemy Fuso. We got some floods, some fires. Well, not some fires. And those dots will absolutely be put out because it's the only attack. So the deep water torpedoes, what are they supposed to do? Well, they're supposed to only attack cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers. There are very select exceptions to that, and you will find out which one is an exception in this video. But as far as it is playing, it plays exactly like the Graf Zeppelin first tested way back in the day, the first impression video that I made, where I did like 140,000 or 120,000, and it was like the second game I ever played in it. Yeah, surprisingly, even though you can't attack destroyers and some select ships that are cruiser in nature, you do a ton of damage and you still get a ton of kills. Having 15 torpedoes in the water is really awesome. Pretty much every single attack is gonna cause a flood. And I can still use my fighters or my torpedo bombers to spot the enemy destroyers. I just can't attack them. So I don't really see how weak this is. It spots DDs just like everything else. It does way more damage per attack run on battleships and heavy cruisers. It can cause floods just as easily as anything else. It sets up the dot rotation if you want to do that. And here's a good example of me doing just that. We're going to have two fighter squadrons, and I'm eyeing that Fuso. And I'm going to use my third torpedo. Did I say two fighter? We're going to have two torpedo squadrons going after the Fuso. And then we're going to follow up with one torpedo and see if I can layer it to cause a flood. Stick that flood. And of course, I'm going to try and take out the enemy aircraft. Although, he's got tier 6s. I feel really bad for him. He's not going to have a lot of success with low tier aircraft. And especially against a premium, there's really no chance. Because the premium's already maxed upgrade. And in World of Warships, unlike World of Tanks, a lot of the... well, it's not true anymore. But this premium's supposed to be effective. So, yep. Fuso definitely feels isolated, and I will absolutely be setting up an attack run and trying to protect the Amagi while we're doing this. Now, I don't know if 2 leading is better than 1. I'm just trying to consider. Some people will be like, why don't you do 2 torpedo and 1 dive bomber? Yeah, that would definitely be a weaker setup, but maybe that's not what they want to do. I don't know. So I give plenty of distance so the torpedo actually activates. And apparently not enough, because it still hit the target and wasn't activated in time. Because of flood, we do another 30,000 with only 2 squads. I mean, this feels so easy. I am an aircraft carrier noob, I would say. Well, maybe not a noob, but I'm an amateur. And this is a joke. Like, this is so easy. I think the problem with the Graf Zeppelin torpedo setup is that it's 15 torpedoes. That's better than what you had with the Americans in their heyday. The Americans had 12. And yeah, sure, you might miss with 1 torpedo on the front. And look at this, look at this. This guy is so slow that I'm almost not going to be able to hit him. And I was so afraid. But we need a flood. Give us a flood. Oh, thank you, bow. Thank you, bow. Okay, so that flood's going to stick. But in the heyday of the American aircraft carrier, they only had 12. They couldn't get any more. So this is 15. This is ridiculous. It's just a ton of damage. We've already done 90 damage. And it's 7 minutes in the game. And he's going to flood out. Excuse me? The Amagi is going to kill him. And I'm going to miss out on that kill. But we're rearmed, ready to go. Most of the team is set up over here. I mean, this is just a death squad. I can't go near this. This is too tight. Too tight. You got to go for it loose. Yeah. And the fighters are trying to potentially help the Bayern, but he's already on his attack run, so I'm looking to make sure that I can protect my torpedo bombers on their approach. There is a Pensacola and an Alba in the north. And yeah, the Bayern has 2 fires on him, and he's going to stay on fire. He's got to pull back. There's too many people over there, Bayern. And there's a Pensacola. And there is no longer a Pensacola. Okay, that's why it's a piece of crap. It shows its broadside to any ship firing AP, and it's basically one shot. So I can either go after the 6 ships over by A point, or I could go after this Alba that just happened to show up. And I'm going to admit to you, I know the outcome of this attack. I just want to show it to you. So we're going to set up, you know, give plenty of lead. It's an Alba, so it is pretty elusive. It looks like he's turning away, so I can give it, I can be a little bit close, and we're going to zoom in and see exactly how this works out. Now you can see these torpedoes definitely went underneath the Alba. The Alba is one of the ships that is immune to deep water torpedoes. Now you might notice that the deep water torpedoes, they are a triangle with a little bar on the top. I'm not sure what he sees, but I know what I see. There is very little indication that I can not attack that target. Maybe if I used an automatic indicator drop, I didn't try that. Maybe it would not let me set a drop on the target. But clearly I know now I can't drop on the Alba. That was a waste of an attack. He didn't know, clearly, because he was trying to dodge out of the way. And yeah, it feels arbitrary. You know, British cruisers are not immune to these. All the other Japanese cruisers are not immune to these. There's 3 or 4 set cruisers that are immune, and pretty much everything else is fully going to take damage. So I don't know what their, and the Kutuzov I think is in the smoke doing all that fire. I don't know what their rhyme or reason is for choosing these ships. Maybe they feel like they're weak and they don't need to be any weaker. It's not based on draft. The Alba does have a really shallow draft, but there's other ships that are as shallow or more shallow that are not immune to deep water. So I don't know. I don't, you know. If anyone has an idea, let me know. The fighters are okay, but they're pretty crappy against equal tier, which is, it's an equal tier, tier 8. And look at him. He just strafed his own dude. 100-0. I basically avoided the strafe. I think I maybe lost one because I sailed my aircraft through it. But he wipes out his dive bomber like it's nothing, and I feel bad for the dive bomber. So, these fighters do feel better than the... I don't know if it's just me, you know. Oh, it's the exact same fighters, Notser. But I think they're a little bit better. I'm not 100% though. Either way, torpedo bombers are ready to go. Kutuzov is right on top of the North Carolina. I really don't want to attack both of those together. But I don't really have a choice, right? The team's doing a good job. I mean, this is pretty much a win. We just got to attack these guys. And I'm going to see how successful I am on the attack. And the North Carolina is sort of angling. Gonna give enough lead this time. I'm really trying to get every single German torpedo bomber on the target. That's my goal. Look at how fast some of these get taken out, though. Alright, this looks pretty damn good. Oh, he just barely survives. Barely alive. If that torpedo would have hit the nose, he would have been dead. And yeah, you need to drop them a little bit farther back than maybe you would like. I'd also recommend, obviously this is not a finalized version, but it kind of feels like torpedo acceleration is necessary. But other than that, it felt, I can't complain. We've done 125,000, and I had a waste drop, a completely wasted drop on the Alba. I could easily be up to 150,000. I'm going to guess that this is not the final version of the ship. Deep water torpedoes are not quite as weak as maybe they were trying to get them. And look at this. We do indeed drop the torpedo. And we take out the North Carolina. Man, so close. But not close enough, my friend. And that's the end of the game. Kutuzov, he survives. But we win the game, straight up. Not too bad. I kind of feel like it's still too powerful. You know, if the entire game was DDs, that would be one thing, but it's not. The most DDs I've ever seen in a game, I think, was 6. And that means there's 6 targets for me to use the Graf Zeppelin on. But it was nice to check it out. I hope you liked seeing the deep water torpedoes, how they reacted. I'm assuming that the Alba didn't hear any beep, beep, beep whenever it was close on top of him. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.